think, when something just nags at you and you can't sleep at night, there's nothing else out there like it, why not, right? He said, no, I was really scared. And he's like, I don't see why you wouldn't take this position.
So what made you decide, when was the line between idea to let's start?
A huge, part of my story is my mentors. How they really pushed me outside my comfort zone and really pushed me to take risks. Imagine a conference with hundreds or maybe thousands of people. You put in your filters. Hey, I'm looking for a mentor, investor, a job. Saw potential in me that I didn't even see myself. And so mentors are so important, and that's why I want to help these young people find mentors, find their community, find their network, and help them grow.
Welcome, Sara.
Welcome, Sara.
Thanks for having me.
So, tell us about yourself. I mean, give us your 1 minute life story.
In 1 minute.
Yeah.
Goodness. So I was born in upstate New York and grew up in East Texas and spent my entire childhood playing sports, and ended up going to play Division I soccer at Xavier University in Cincinnati, Ohio. And then ended up having an injury and taking a 5th year at University of Cincinnati and getting my MBA. From there, I found my entrepreneurial spirit and entered a Cincinnati Innovates competition. I actually won. I don't think I've ever told you this, but for a mobile app idea I had back then. That was, well, maybe I won't say the date. I don't want to date myself here. But yeah. And, unfortunately at that time, the idea was maybe ahead of its time. Apple, my app idea needed a open operating system, and Apple back then was closed. So ended up kind of just pocketing that one and then coming back to Dallas, Texas to be closer to my family, and starting with a large Wall Street bank here in Dallas in private banking. And then I've been doing that ever since. And then came up with the idea for Mingley in 2018. So
2018.
Yeah, that's kind of the short story.
The 1 minute breakdown.
Yeah.
What was the app that you created in college?
So the app back then was basically like an out of office for your text messaging. So Apple has that now. And I guess good thing that I didn't spend a lot of time and money on that. So
yeah.
But yeah, it was a great experience, learned a lot. And, at the time I wasn't, I was young, I was coming out of college and had a lot of student loans and wasn't really financially independent yet. And so it wasn't a good time for me personally either. So I'm a strong believer in that everything happens for a reason. And waited for the right time and the right idea.
Nice. Yeah.
Right time, right idea.
Yep. That's true. So actually you told about New York, moving from New York to Texas. So how was that transition like?
Yeah, I mean, I was 10, so I was happy about it.
Okay.
My sister, though, was a little older than me, so she wasn't so happy because she was already in high school. But yeah, I mean, the transition was super easy for me because I played sports and, had a bunch of teammates and was basically just traveling all the time from East Texas to Dallas to play club soccer here in Dallas. So it was a good move for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was that when you had this entrepreneurial spirit, or when did that start?
I mean, I've always had that. I mean, since I was in New York, right? Like setting up a garage sale, having a lemonade stand, things like that. And then the idea in Cincinnati when I was in college. And then coming to Dallas, when I first started working here, I was just an analyst and trying to live in Uptown and trying to make ends meet. And I actually started a pet sitting business, Uptown Pet Sitting. So that helped pay the bills. And then in, like I said, 2018 had this idea where I couldn't sleep at night and knew that it was a huge problem. And did a lot of research, listened to a lot of podcasts, and bugged my partner about it, like probably annoyed her a lot. And to the point where she's like, just do it, just, take the leap and go for it. And so in 2021, we actually started developing, and then got on the App Store in 2023. So
Wait, so you had the idea in 2018
Yeah.
and you
18.
sat on it
I think
for
it might have been
a couple
before
years.
that, but
Wow.
but yeah, I sat on it for a couple years. I mean, didn't really like just sit there and do nothing. Like I said, was constantly researching, trying to figure out how to get this off the ground, talking to people, making sure that there really was the same problem that I was experiencing.
Right, validation.
Yeah.
Right. So what made you decide, when was the line between idea to let's start building this?
I think, when something just nags at you and you can't sleep at night,
Yeah.
and you've done the research and, you've talked to a lot of people and they're experiencing the same problem. There's nothing else out there like it. Why not? Right. Ideas don't always come out fully formed. Right. It's really just important to start, and maybe they do come out fully formed, but they seem too overwhelming or
Right.
like a mountain to climb, right? But really the important thing is to just start, and you'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Like talking about can't sleeping at night, right? As entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
like I think that's something very common. I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs have this big idea in their head,
Yeah.
and you're like, you just don't sleep, you're just researching and things like that. So how do you kind of stay on track and like know that, okay, this is the idea and this is what I'm going for?
Yeah, I mean, I think just seeing like the success stories, right? And hearing the feedback, not just like app store reviews, but people reaching out on the app or at our events, and telling me, hey, I found a job through someone on Mingley, or, I was able to find a business partner on Mingley. I placed a volunteer for my nonprofit on Mingley. Like those are the things that keep me going and keep our team going, and are really exciting.
Awesome. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your sports. Like what kind of sports did you
Yeah.
use to play, and did that shape your entrepreneurship journey?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think I've always been driven to succeed internally. And then through sports, right? Like just extra competitive, right? But yeah, I played soccer, basketball my entire life. I actually was more passionate about basketball, but I was a little too
really?
short for that. And wanted to go play Division I. So ended up, really focusing on soccer I guess it would be my junior and senior year in high school. And then, yeah, getting that Division I scholarship to play at Xavier University was a great experience. And it taught me teamwork, resiliency. I talked about my injury, never giving up, and the importance of hard work.
I think there is a mindset correlation between sports and entrepreneurship for
Yeah.
sure, because you have a team
Yeah.
that you have to come together and work together to achieve this goal. And then you have to have that mindset to kind of keep going even when it hurts.
Oh yeah.
And it hurts a lot. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, there's a lot of ups and downs. I mean, you have good days and bad days, you have wins and you have losses, and you just, you try to focus on, the wins, to keep you motivated, and then learn from the losses. What can I do better? How can we do, this better? And you keep going, because that's the most important thing, is to keep going, because I think a lot of people, I think 85% of apps like fail because, they just give up, or, they can't ever get over a certain amount of users on the app. And so I think if you're able to be in it for the long game, and I hate to use this quote, it's a marathon, not a race, but
Right.
it really is. It really
Yeah.
is. And a lot of times you only see like the end result of these large companies, right? That they're IPOing, or they're raising a ton of money, but how did they get there, right? How many years in the making,
Right.
So I think that's important to keep that in perspective.
So how big is the team right now at Mingley?
Yeah. So our team is about 5 to 8. It depends on how many developers we have
Mm-hmm.
at any given point. But yeah, so we have our developers led by Haim, who's our CTO. We have our general counsel, Doug McCullough, who is actually the founder of Texas Young Professionals, an organization with over 100,000 members across Texas, and really our go-to-market strategy. And then we have Anna, who's our creative director,
Mm-hmm.
and we have Kenzie, who's our brand manager, and Melanie, who does, she's the director of sponsorships.
Okay. I don't think I met Melanie. I think.
Yeah, Melanie is actually a mentor of mine.
Okay. Nice.
So, a huge, part of my story is my mentors and how they really pushed me outside my comfort zone and really pushed me to take risks. I'm a natural introvert. And so, the reason that I was able to accomplish the things that I've accomplished in my career, including Business Insider's top private bankers under 40, is because of my mentors, my network, my relationships. But they always encouraged me to network and get out there, because we all know that it's so important. Like the in-person relationships are so important to long-term business relationships. And so, but walking into a room full of strangers as a natural introvert is scary.
Yeah.
And so, that's one of the reasons I created Mingley, was to help professionals navigate networking events more efficiently and effectively.
Can you just go into the detail for our viewers?
Yeah.
How does Mingley work exactly?
Yeah.
What do we get out of it?
Yeah. So you can think of it like a GPS for your professional life. It leads you and guides you in real time, in real life, to your professional connections. We use geolocation and smart algorithms to match users with other professionals that align with your goals on the app and in person at events. So imagine a conference with hundreds or maybe thousands of people. You put in your filters. Hey, I'm looking for a mentor, investor, a job. And instead of it showing you like, hey, 1,000 people are here, it's going to tell you, hey, there's 10 people that are really going to help you grow your career. Those 10 people meet your objectives and your goals, and those people are here right now. So,
Wow.
yeah, that's
Nice.
how Mingley works.
I wish they had this when I was in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Where were you, Sarah?
Well, and that's why I want to help young people, right? COVID, made us more digitally connected than ever, but we're actually all feeling more isolated.
Right.
And it's disproportionately impacting young people, right? So about a third of young people or a third of young people feel that same social anxiety that I did when walking into a networking event. And 9 out of 10 students don't even want to go to their work events at all. So we're using screens to get people off screens, and helping them walk into a room and feel more confident and bold.
Using screens to get people off screens. Is that the tagline?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because that's really what we're trying to do. We want people to get out there and meet in person. And it's been really hard for me because I want to be off screens too. But when you have a tech company and you're building a mobile app, I'm constantly on my screen. So it's a little catch-22, but
Very hard.
Yeah.
How did you get over, you said you were an introvert, but you went from introvert to, running an organization with 100,000 people.
Yeah.
So how do you go from introvert to that? Like,
mentors and having people push you outside your comfort zone. And for that one, I give thanks to Doug McCullough, who's the founder of Texas Young Professionals. He basically told me, like, you can do this. You'd be great at it. And it's really going to help your career. And I had those same type of mentors working at financial institutions that I worked at, because I always thought that I would be behind the scenes, crunching numbers, more operational. And I had a mentor, Craig Sullivan, who's actually the CFO of a large bank. And he said, no, you have very high EQ. You need to be front office, And so I was really scared. And he's like, I don't see why you wouldn't take this position.
Mm.
So they really pushed me outside my comfort zone and saw potential in me that I didn't even see myself. And so mentors are so important. And that's why I want to help these young people find mentors, find their community, find their network, and help them grow too.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of mentors, I also agree too. Like having a mentor or a coach. I mean, you play soccer, right?
Yeah.
Imagine the team if you didn't have a coach.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so I feel like
Same thing.
yeah, we can all use a coach in our lives, whatever
Yep.
it is that we're pursuing, not just sports. But I was thinking while you were saying that about your mentors, who are your top icons or people that you look for inspiration?
Well, being in the finance world, Warren Buffett, of course, but in terms of like entrepreneurs, Whitney Wolf, founder of Bumble, and just kind of the resiliency that she had, working, I believe it was Tinder before,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, and everything that she went through, and then came out of that stronger than ever, and created Bumble into what it is today. I want to be like Whitney Wolf.
You're gonna be on I saw her master class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Whitney, if you're listening, because I know her original idea with Bumble was networking, but the kind of biggest investor was like, no, we need to do dating. So Whitney, if you want a networking app, Mingley is where it's at.
Whitney, where are you?
Yeah.
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 Cool.
So I have a follow-up question
Yeah.
to how the vision of Mingley, right?
Yeah.
So obviously with all, people using Mingley, you must be receiving a lot of feedback.
Oh, yeah.
And how do you kind of stay true to, a networking app versus just like how Whitney, she moved into dating.
Yeah.
So how do you stay true to that North Star? Like, what's your vision?
It's really hard. It's one of the hardest things, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But and I'm still trying to figure it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But feedback is so important to learn from it and to adapt. But at the same time, you can't listen, like you said, to everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't please everyone. And so what we try to do is we try to prioritize those the list of feedback, and then based on the priority level, like making sure that we're staying true to our vision and to our mission. So it's not easy. I never take a one-off advice or feedback because I need to make sure that I hear it over and over again from people.
Right.
Once I start hearing it over and over again, then I'm like, okay, wait a second, we might need to look into this. And then you also look at your data, and your data can help you form conclusions. And so, yeah, that's one of the hardest things for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, talking about that reminds me of listening to your gut or your intuition or data, because you are a numbers girl.
Yeah.
So
so
can you tell us about how do you make decisions? Is it based on data, or do you go into like intuition or gut?
Yeah, it's a little bit of all three of those things. Being a non-technical founder, that's also one of the struggles. But I do have my CTO, Haim, who I trust a lot, and he helps make sure that we are looking at the data, and he's helping us get us access to the data. And then, it is making sure that you're not just making kind of one-off decisions, and that you are not only making decisions based on the feedback, but the data as well. So, it's not an easy task.
Yeah. The reason I asked that is because I worked in data.
Yeah.
And a lot of whenever I spoke to all the business stakeholders, their only decision was, no, I know it. This is how you're going to do it. And this is what it is. And sometimes they kind of oversee what the data is saying too.
Yeah.
And always made me wonder, but they were all true. It was all, I was like, then what's the data for?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think since we do have such a small team, we don't, there's not a lot of cooks in the kitchen, right? So we can be quick to make decisions. And it's really just trusting your gut and staying true to that vision, which is to create a world where individuals are actively supporting each other's growth, they're collaborating in real life, and we're allowing collective progress for all. And so as long as we're staying true to that, nothing else matters.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you see? What's the vision for Mingley?
Well, exactly that. Right now, we're exclusively in Texas, and we are lucky to be the official networking app of Texas Young Professionals. And so we're going to stick to Texas for a little bit. There's about 10 million young professionals in Texas, so we got a little work to do. And about 1,000 new people are moving here every single day.
Wow.
We'll be here for a little bit. We are keeping people are applying from all over the world. It's based on demand. We will scale to other states. And then from there, we hope to go global. And maybe work with Whitney Wolf.
Whitney.
Whitney.
Are you there?
We have to tag her on all the platforms
Please
when
do.
we post this.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So why did you choose Dallas, like Texas?
Well, I chose Dallas because when I grew up in East Texas, so my family is all still in East Texas. Then I went off to school in Cincinnati and got a degree in finance. And when I graduated, it was 2010 and tough time, post financial crisis, and so I was really just praying for any job. And I got really lucky and got a job with a Wall Street bank here in Dallas, and that was close to my family. And a good place to have a professional career, grow that career, start a family. So yeah, that's why I'm in Dallas.
And it's very hot, so
It is very hot.
You like
Yes,
the heat.
that was playing soccer growing up. That was so
I was
hard.
gonna ask you about that. Like,
The worst
in the
was
Texas heat.
in Houston. We had tournaments in Houston, and the humidity was it was rough. It was rough.
Have you grown to like the heat? I know when I first moved to Dallas back in 2018, it was the day that I moved. It was a day of a heat wave, and it was 103 degrees, and we're moving the furniture, and it was hot, 100 plus the whole day I was here. Like it was 10 o'clock at night. Sun is down. It's still 102 degrees, and I was like, "Wow, this is Texas." But over time, I've grown to love the heat. Has that happened to you? Yeah, no.
I mean, you get used to it. You adapt. I mean, just last night we were walking at like 9 or 10 at night in our neighborhood, and it was still like 94 degrees. Yeah, I mean, you adapt. You like everything, right? So we get up earlier. We make sure we walk in the early mornings. We're doing pool workouts now, so you find ways to stay cool.
But Texas Young Professionals, tell us about that.
Yeah, so Texas Young Professionals, like I said, we've got about 100,000 members across Texas. We are obviously a group of young professionals and entrepreneurs, executives across all industries. So that's kind of what differentiates ourselves from other networking organizations, is that we're industry agnostic. And our mission is really, to foster career development, entrepreneurial endeavors, civic involvement. And we have monthly happy hours in our 5 chapters. So Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, and bringing people together to help them grow their careers.
Okay. So obviously, I mean, Mingley, Texas Young Professionals, you believe in the power of networking.
100%. I mean, it's the only way. Another corny line, right? Your network is your net worth. And it is so true. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without my network, without my mentors, without the relationships. But I will say, it's not just about how big your network is. It's about the quality of your network. And you have to give to get. I actually say you have to give to get.
Yeah.
And it's so important to give back first. And that's really been, what the values that I've lived by, and the values that Mingley lives by, because we have gamification in the app. So you get points for doing good. So if you're mentoring someone, or you're helping someone get a job, or you're a veteran, right? You're a hero, so you get points. So we're just creating this community of people helping people. And when you do that, really good things come.
I need
know
to. I need to get on Mingley.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're not on Mingley yet.
No.
So Brandon and I met on Mingley. I think that we should call that out. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I wouldn't be on this podcast if I wouldn't have met, Brandon on Mingley.
If it
So,
wasn't for networking,
Right.
the
Networking.
power of networking,
Yep.
which that was a funny encounter, like just how we met on LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, but
On Mingley. Exactly. Yeah, we could talk a little bit about the difference between LinkedIn and Mingley. I mean, I know that's a question people always ask. And I mean, there's a lot of differences, but the common theme that we've found is that, well, first of all, LinkedIn is very virtual, right? We're fostering these relationships in real life, in person, and we're getting people off screens. But secondly, Gen Z find LinkedIn really intimidating, which I don't know if you guys have heard that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So common theme. I'm not just saying that because we talk to a lot of young people through our events, Texas Young Professionals. I work with a lot of universities who have Mingley on their platform. And yeah, they're very intimidated because LinkedIn's very like formal, right? And they're just graduating and their teachers and professors are saying, hey, you need to get on LinkedIn, you need to get on LinkedIn. And they go to LinkedIn and they're like, they see your profile with all these accolades and experience. And they're like, what am I supposed to put on here? Like, I only have a Smoothie King job. Like that's what I did when I was in high school. But, and then they don't have a professional headshot. They don't know what to post. And on Mingley, it's a lot more welcoming, right? And open, and you only need one picture, and we actually help you if you don't have a professional headshot. We can turn your selfie into a professional or more career photo through AI.
Is that a new feature that wasn't there when I was on it?
It's a new one.
Nice.
And so we have that, and then they don't have to put like on when you get on and create your profile, you just put what you're currently doing, right? You don't have to put like your whole resume, all of your background experience, all of that. So, and then there's no posting. So they don't have to worry about, oh no, I don't know what to say. Right. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. And, we're going to continue to stick by that, and make sure that we continue to make them feel welcomed and, like they have a community that's there to help them.
All right. I can see that actually. I think it's maybe more related to the age than the generation itself,
Right.
because when I was that age, LinkedIn was a little bit scary for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
now
that's
people
true.
see me on LinkedIn. They're like, you use like Instagram.
Yeah.
But when I first started, I was like, I'm afraid to post. My coworker's going to see it. Like, I'm supposed to be
Right.
like,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
pressed and, straight to the T. So it was intimidating at first. It took me a bit of time as I got older, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's a common theme we're hearing, and just thought it was very interesting.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of networking, just a call out here. You've met Kevin, the Vipassana guy.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I actually met him through Haim, and
Oh,
Haim
nice.
is Sarah's CTO. So
Oh,
that's like the
Oh, are you working with Kevin?
I'm working with Kevin.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Good. See?
yeah. You
Comes full
introduced
circle.
me to
Yeah.
Haim. I met with Haim. You
Yep.
introduced me to Kevin.
Yeah.
I introduced Kevin to Lekhana.
yeah.
This network.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So how is he working with you?
So I'm helping him with his platform, educational
Okay.
platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. He's a smart guy.
So about your being an introvert, right? How did you know the power of networking, mentorship? Like, what made you? What was the first step that you took? What made you push yourself into networking and mentorship? Like, how did you get that?
Yeah. I think it's always just been mentors telling me like, you need to do this, you need to do that. Yeah. When I first joined TYP, Texas Young Professionals, Doug, he was like, hey, you need to lead this, right? You need to lead this organization. It not only will open the doors for you, but you'll get to meet a lot of people, help a lot of people, which you're like, that's what you love to do. And so it all just kind of made sense, right? Like I just love helping people and seeing them grow. And so you can't do that if you're sitting behind a screen and crunching numbers. So,
Yeah.
and then when I ended up, taking the role in the front office, you have to, like, your job is to be out there meeting people and, in business development, right? So again, you're not going to be successful if you just send out emails and hope that people will do business with you. And the stats actually show that, right? So 40% of prospects convert to clients after an in-person meeting versus only 16% without that in-person meeting. So again, the power of networking, but not only just networking, but networking in person and creating those relationships.
Do you have any advice on, you mentioned earlier the quality of your network versus, just having a big network. So if you had to give, and I feel like I know what your answer is going to be just from knowing you,
Yeah.
but what would be the advice you would give to anyone about maybe networking, maybe not, but your top advice for anyone?
I think it's just put yourself out there. Like, don't be scared. When in that, walk into a room and figure out how you can help someone else first. Don't walk into a room and say, "Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm looking for a job." Right. And that's why we created, another reason why we created Mingley is to give you those cliff notes before you walk into an event or networking event where you can see, hey, what are Brandon's goals and objectives? Oh, he's looking for a job, or he's looking for a mentor. I think you were looking for a mentor at one point, right? And
I'm always looking for a
yeah.
mentor.
and I connected with a couple people, and you've reciprocated and like helped connect me with folks. And so it's just finding people that also care about you and also give back to you as well. So
yeah, that's great.
it's not a one-way street.
I really need to try Mingley.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say that.
You did. You put a little pressure on me when you said you knew what I was going to say.
It actually came true. Have you read the book, The Go-Giver?
No.
So every time I think of that book, I actually think of you.
Oh, really?
It talks about how you give more than what is expected.
Yeah.
And you do that in every situation. Like, that's what you focus on first. In any encounter, you focus on how can I give more than what was expected.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That book reminds me of you. I'm surprised you haven't read it.
No, I haven't. I'll have to check it out though. Yeah.
I think it goes the same even with content creation, I guess. Yeah. I just have to keep giving every single day
That's why I don't like that.
Yeah.
I can't do social media.
Yeah.
An introvert.
That is a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why I have a whole team, marketing team that does a really great job. Shout out to Nicola, Hiroshi, and Goga.
What is that like, managing, a team, a startup team?
It's not easy, especially when most of them have a full-time job as well, and then I also have a full-time job. But it's all about trust, and when you hire people that you trust and that has the same values and the same vision as you, it's not as hard, right? You don't have to worry about it. You trust their decisions, and everything else kind of falls into place.
So how do you build that trust?
Well, you make sure that you hire people and you build a team that you trust, right? And you can find those people through your mentors. And actually, I can't believe I can't believe it really is true. Like, so Kenzie, I told you, Melanie is my mentor and she's on our team. Kenzie is also Melanie's mentor, and Melanie told me about Kenzie. So that's how I found Kenzie.
Okay.
So it really is like a small world type thing. And you can do a lot and do a lot with mentors. You really can.
That's nice.
So what's your leadership style like?
Oh, this is something that I've been trying to reflect on. I think that I lead by example. I've always been that way on the field, on the court, and now with Mingley. So really just, making sure that I'm putting in the greatest effort that I can put in, that I'm communicating, and being really transparent. So that's how I lead.
Transparency, that's very important.
Yeah. And I also I've been lucky to have a lot of great bosses in my career. I know that's probably rare, but I try to learn. I watch what they do and like learn
Mhm.
from them. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
why do I think he's such a great boss? And then I'm like, okay, he's transparent. He's really good at communicating, making sure that we all feel connected and that we all feel heard. And so I really try to pick up on like those qualities and try to mirror them if I can.
Mhm. Yeah. We were just talking about how important communication is just yesterday.
Yeah.
And one of the, like, I think the key things is to like actually like telling what your thoughts are, like,
Yeah.
and communicating that clearly.
Like repetition. Sports, right? You just got to practice. You just got to get those reps in. And that's why I'm here.
That's why we're all here.
Yeah.
I think we all would say that we were an introvert
yeah.
at some point of
Yeah.
our lives.
Yeah.
Me too, for sure.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. But it's good to have people like you guys that, you know, I mean, Brandon, you didn't give up on me on this podcast. And so I wanted to be here for you. And also I should be doing things like this. So yeah.
I knew you were an introvert. So I was like, who should I ask? Sarah.
Yeah.
Let's make her uncomfortable.
Yeah. You're doing a good job. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. No, it's been fun. You guys are doing a great job making me feel comfortable.
Yeah. Well, it was nice having you on this podcast for sure. For the audience, where can we find you? How do we get connected with you? Just, all the plugs.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. Definitely download Mingley on the App Store. So we're on both Google Play and Apple App Store. It's free. I did create an exclusive code for your listeners. Okay. So you don't have to go through the application process, and you can just use the code MindfulOf podcast. That's all one word, all capital letters. And then also follow along on our journey across all social media platforms. Mingley app, that's MYNGLY app, across all the platforms.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's great marketing.
Yeah.
Mindful of podcast. Exclusive code. If you didn't catch that, I love it.
Download it today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure.
I want to stop though.
And now it's like...
Yeah, I'm like sweating. Bye.